Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Reading Between the Wines 2025. I am Robin Ryan, Executive Director of Literacy Network. I am so glad to see all of you here tonight as we celebrate student achievements. So just yesterday, as I was preparing for this evening, Marie, one of our directors, told me about a student who started taking English classes at Literacy Network in 2012. She had to take pauses in her education at various points and gradually advanced in her English skills. In 2023, she became a citizen after working with a tutor to prepare for her naturalization exam. Last year, she started working with a tutor to study for high school equivalency. She will earn her high school equivalency diploma in May and plans to start her post-secondary studies at Madison College this fall. Her story is a terrific example of students reaching their goals with support of free adult education programs. So tonight, you will hear directly from 3 students about their education journeys. We will also hear from several featured speakers, and I will share an update about the agency. Without further ado, we will get started. So I want to start by thanking all of our event sponsors. They are Park Bank, the UW South Madison Partnership, Summit Credit Union, Tana Elias and Andrew Krakowski, Tandem HR, Findorf, Group Health Cooperative of South Central Wisconsin, Halong Bay, and Little Palace. And I just have to make a side note that congratulations to Stephanie Lay for reopening Halong Bay and moving Little Palace to a new location. We are so fortunate that Stephanie is a board member. Additional sponsors are Harker Heating and Cooling and The Shop. I also want to thank Rich and Mary Lynch for making the matching gift for tonight. And we have many in-kind donors to thank as well. American Family Insurance, General Beverage, Left Bank Wine Company, Ticey, WORT, the Black Business Hub, the many individuals and businesses who donated items for the auction, and you still have till 11 p.m. to bid on auction items. And while making that announcement, I will also say it looks like we have wine for the wine pull, so please stop by the wine pull table. I also want to thank our committee and board members and volunteers and staff who have volunteered for this event this evening. And I really, please, warm welcome and thank you for Margaret Francino, who put the entire event together. And throughout the year, it is Margaret who gets to know students and volunteers so that she can write really wonderful stories and share them with our Literacy Network community. So thank you, Margaret. So now I am pleased to introduce our featured speaker, Joanna Burrish. As managing partner of Custer Burrish Financial Services, where the Literacy Network Endowment is, Joanna is a trusted member of the Literacy Network team. After immigrating to the U.S. from Nazareth, Israel as a child, Joanna made her initial career in acting, film, and music production in Hollywood and New York. She subsequently served as the CEO of several multi-million-dollar real estate companies, and for the last 8 years has worked in financial planning. One of her proudest achievements is founding the BODS Network to empower women. We are fortunate to have Joanna's guidance. Please welcome Joanna to the podium.
Thank you. First, I'm so honored to be here. It's a bit of a miracle, but we'll talk about that in a minute here. Let me get my PowerPoint up for you. We've got 10 minutes and 26 slides to get through, so slideshow. Bear with me 1 second from the beginning. Okay, so just a preface, the BRAUD, B-R-A-U-D, is a network of women that I founded in 2011 of women empowering women, and it started as in male-dominated industries, but now it's just fabulous women promoting and empowering other fabulous women, and men too. It's not just women, but so let me get going here. My goal today, initially, is to help you, to inspire you, to broad it up to broad power. This is my mom and dad, George and Salimi Suresh. This is their engagement picture. They are my heroes. We immigrated to Madison, Wisconsin in 1976, January of 1976. And none of us knew how to speak any English. I was 7, my older sister was 9, and my younger sister was 5, and my brother was 2. So my older sister had a little bit of like a year or 2 in the English school that we were there in Israel. I had nothing other than just, Arabic and just starting to learn to read and write. My younger sister only was 5, so she was speaking Arabic, and my brother was 2. Now, the beautiful thing about this couple here, they said yes to a potential. My mom's eldest brother. Mom is the 3rd of 12 children. My dad is the 1st of 7 children. And my mom's eldest brother moved to America to go to school. He got a scholarship at Eau Claire in business, and he was supposed to come back to Madison, and had the audacity to fall in love with a blonde-haired, green-eyed woman. That's my grandmother's words. And then didn't come back, and so he asked someone in the family to move here, and my dad said yes to that opportunity. So when we took these pictures, we didn't know that these were going to be our passport pictures. Your friend Joanna is right here. And this was us coming off the plane in O'Hare. My uncle came to pick us up. It was freezing. I didn't even know what a coat like that was for. They gave it to us as we came off the plane. Trying to move this here. And I can tell you, and this is where the story of the Literacy Network really begins, the power of what the Literacy Network is doing. This is the Arabic alphabet. And when we moved here, my birthday is in September. So as you know, when your birthday is in September and you're about to go into 5th grade or 1st grade, you can hold somebody back, right? They didn't with me. So I went into 1st grade, completely missed kindergarten. And it was really difficult because these were the letters I was used to, and these were the numbers that I was used to. So this is, you can see the differences between the Arabic and the English letters. The number 5, can you see the arrow when I'm moving it? No, oh, shoot, okay. So the number 5, I'm just gonna come here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me up there? So the number 5 is 0. The number 7 in Arabic is 6. A period is 0. This looks like a 7 backwards, but it's a 2. So, learning to read and write for me, more so than my sisters, but we all had a difficult time, was really difficult. And Mom and Dad were so busy just trying to make a living, they didn't have time to talk to us. I remember getting report cards, and this was maybe a benefit back then, but we didn't really talk about our report cards, right? And so I was failing math in 1st grade. And then fast forward, this was the elementary school I went to, and I felt like such a loser that I would show up every day at 6 a.m. and I would hold that door open, and just so people would see that I was actually a nice person. Now I can tell you in 1976, it was not cool to be an Arab. I'm a Palestinian Christian Arab. And the 72 Olympics had happened, so there was not a good thought about anyone that was Middle Eastern of any kind. So because I felt so stupid, and I was afraid to ask for help, and I can tell you the teachers were not asking me if I needed help. I just thought I would try to be nice. And the older kids got to a point where they thought, well, she's a nice kid, and they started protecting me from the other students. And I never told my family what was happening because I was embarrassed, right? Then in 1991, we became citizens. And here's the thing that I learned about my mom and dad is that Mom, being the 3rd of 12 kids, she took care of all of her siblings. And loved being a good student. Between the times her siblings were sick, she would have to stay home, but then she'd go back to school, and the nuns would tell her she was so smart. She loved that. So what I learned later is Mom and Dad would work. She started a daycare center, and my father was a painter. He would paint houses and do wallpaper. They would work all day, and then at night they would come to a program like literacy. and they would learn how to read and write English. And I didn't know that till much later. I mean, these people worked almost 24/7, right? Because they worked all day, they put us to bed, they'd go to school, they'd come home. Mom would, at daycare, she had 8 kids, she would have to cook for the next day. The work ethic of these people and what I witnessed was just astronomical. Now, the one thing that the teacher at the program taught her is that if you really want to be a good American, besides learning how to read and write, you got to be Packer fans in Wisconsin. And so this brilliant teacher used football as a way to teach people numbers, reading, writing, the sport of football. And I'll tell you what, you stood in front of my mom on a Packer, that was not good. That was not good. But I can tell you the power that it gave my mom and dad and what they did with their careers. They both won. My father won 2 national awards for his incredible talent of making a new home look like it was 100 years old. And my mother was given a week, Mayor Dave Chislevich named a week after my mother for her daycare center, for the way that she cooked Middle Eastern food, which, by the way, her cookbook is on Amazon, if anyone's interested. And so what I did is I took what I was learning from my mom and dad, and I used it for my own life. I got married. I had my baby girl, Raquel, on my birthday when I was 24, was married for almost 10 years, and then, sadly to say, that marriage came to an end, and I was disowned by my mom for a little bit. She was very upset with me, so I thought life was over. But because of the lessons they taught me and the perseverance and the tenacity that they used, I continued my life. I ended up doing Hollywood, I would travel back and forth every other week. It was a chance in my life where I was not my father's daughter and I wasn't my husband's wife. And so no one was telling me what to do, so I took a shot and I was able to be in the film industry. If anyone watches Days of Our Lives, that was Nicole Walker. I had a music production company, worked with Quincy Jones, did Grammys. And mind you, none of this would happen without education or getting over my mindset, which I only did because I watched my mom and dad do it through learning how to read. They didn't let themselves, being immigrants and not knowing the language, stop them from anything. They became the best of the best in their industry. So again, you got to work with some phenomenal people. Days of Our Lives, I'm going to run through these, was in the Cannes Film Festival, used, and here one thing, I was talking to Enzo earlier. My job titles, and you'll see the next, so I went from Hollywood to being a real estate developer. And I'm going to tell you, words matter, and sometimes they don't, in that the title from being a producer or executive producer to real estate developer, when I got a job offer to become a real estate developer, I said, I've never done real estate before. And the gentleman that offered me the job said, you've been doing this, you've been producing films and TV and music. Hollywood has properties that are called scripts. Real estate has properties that are called land and buildings. Hollywood has actors, real estate has tenants. Hollywood has directors, real estate has architectural designers. You know, everybody needs a bank and an attorney, so that's the same conversation. So I was a real estate developer for 10 years and loved it. And then I met this beautiful woman named Betty Custer, which a lot of folks in here know. In 2019, she was I ended up going to financial planning, and I saw her at these different events, and she was always so graceful and confident. But I'll tell you what, being a financial advisor as a woman is a rare thing. There's not many of us. So I asked her for a cup of coffee to see, how did you do this? How did you build your business? And that's the other thing I'm going to implore all of you that are learning and looking at your future. Find a mentor, find a sponsor. And there's a difference between a sponsor and a mentor. And a mentor is someone you're going to have coffee with occasionally. They will teach you things, but a sponsor will act on your behalf. They will call someone in the business and say, you need to meet with, your name is upside down. Is that Kimberly? Kimberly, right? So find a sponsor, not just a mentor. And so by the end of that coffee with Betty, she asked me to be part of her succession team. Today, what I would say to this woman that I am today, to the 2 women that I was before, is I believed I could, so I did. That was the message my parents gave me. I believed I could, and I would say my whole thing, for everything I do is my daughter. This is my daughter at her wedding. Today, this is the door I open for people. This is what I get to do, is I get to help people live the life that they want to live. And what I can promise you is this, I'm feeling it every day. This is my mom and dad, both in heaven now, always saying that they're proud of me. 10 minutes, did I do it?
So last year was the anniversary, and we really were looking at the numbers and the tens of thousands of students who have studied at Literacy Network. And it was really inspiring to learn how former students have continued pursuing their goals after Literacy Network and how their achievements have rippled through the local community and beyond. So we also last year celebrated quite a few specific accomplishments. We served over 1,500 students, a record number. They came from 88 countries of origin and spoke 68 home languages. More than 200 refugees enrolled in classes, and we started a dedicated class for Afghan women. More than 60 students worked towards their high school equivalency. We added a fourth citizenship class with funding from our first ever direct federal grant. The grant allowed us to expand access to free instruction to prepare for the U.S. citizenship exam. Over 400 people volunteered at Literacy Network, the majority as tutors. We moved into the remaining space at our Learning Center on South Park Street. This expansion included breaking down walls to make a classroom bigger so that we could fit more people, more students, into our very popular English classes. And we spent the second half of the year planning to make Omega School a part of Literacy Network come January 1st, 2025. So we are in a very different and more challenging environment this year due to changes in U.S. government policies. So our first focus this year is to maintain Literacy Network as a safe place for study amidst anti-immigration rhetoric, threats of deportation, the shutdown of refugee resettlement, and disruption of humanitarian parole and temporary protected status. We have educated ourselves on individual rights and shared Know Your Rights lessons with students and volunteers. We have hosted community partner presentations for students, including presentations by the Madison Police, Voces de la Frontera, and Public Health. The good news is that students are still participating in class and tutoring. So our second focus this year is to raise funds to sustain and expand programs in a climate of tightening grant funding and an uncertain economy. We suffered a setback on March 27th when the federal government abruptly terminated our citizenship grant midstream. We are not passively accepting the grant cut. We submitted a formal objection to the Department of Homeland Security last week, and we have been participating in interviews with the Washington Post and local media who are doing stories on the impact for students, focusing on what citizenship means for our students and what the grant-funded classes mean for them and why they are important. However, despite the challenges, those of us who are involved in Literacy Network know that we are quite fortunate. We are in a place where we can take daily action to stand for decency, respect individual rights, and build community. Taking part in the operation of adult education programming is a life-affirming investment in each other and in our collective future. So if you are feeling demoralized, frustrated, perhaps angry or otherwise pessimistic, and please, I invite you to name your own emotion. I invite you to spend time at Literacy Network, to witness persistence of students and the compassion and dedication of all who are part of the Literacy Network community, and that is students, volunteers, staff, and donors. So we continue to find ways to respond to student requests for classes. We mark the 1-year anniversary of the dedicated class for Afghan women, and we will renew the class for the summer semester. We're even adding an extra ESL class on the northeast side of Madison, partly at the request of the Afghan men. They saw the women's class, they wanted their own, they don't get their own, but that we are adding a class. We are maintaining the added 11th ESL tutoring class we started last summer, And we are sustaining workplace programs with dedicated workplace partners who routinely renew contracts for English instruction on-site at their businesses. We are seeing new growth this year in the number of students obtaining their high school equivalency through our partnership with Madison College. Under the Madison College HSED program, students may obtain their high school equivalency by passing classes rather than taking timed computer-based tests. Literacy Network tutors are embedded in Madison College HSED classes and support students both during class and outside of class. The availability of Literacy Network tutors led Madison College to expand admission to the HSED program last fall, resulting in more students enrolling, demonstrating competency in high school level classes, and obtaining their high school equivalency. Another accomplishment, the Literacy Network Student Leadership Council, which first met in November 23, is now a self-perpetuating body that has elected new members and serves to guide the agency decision-making and provide a forum for student leadership. So far this year, 24 students have become citizens. I have to double check with staff because literally it is going up day by day. The prior highest number of students obtaining citizenship in a year was 53. We're only a third of the way through the year. And we're on track to see 60, 70 students become citizens this year. So seeing that the federal USCIS grant was effective in expanding the reach of our citizenship program makes it all the more infuriating to see the grant abruptly terminated. And again, put your own word in there to say how you feel or think about that. However, moving on, I will end my remarks on a bright note. Omega School became a program of Literacy Network on January 1st. We are thrilled to carry on the operation of this valued Madison nonprofit that provides GED preparation in English and Spanish to adults and to students who are aging out of high school. We are already crafting plans for reaching more students at Omega and for expanding services to support Omega students in planning for life and career achievement after they obtain a GED. When I personally need optimism, one of the people I look to is Ezzy Adesi, the director of Omega School Literacy Network. We could not have found a better match for the director role. Ezzy began his career at Omega School as a GED instructor and then moved to Literacy Network to serve as director of adult basic education for 6 years, before moving on to other education leadership positions. Ezzy returned to Literacy Network in December last year to take on leadership of Omega School. He brings knowledge of adult education, ease in building community connections, and unwavering support for students facing a variety of barriers to advancing their education. Please welcome Ezzy to the podium.
Evening. Thank you all for being here. Not only being here, but also standing with us in this great work that we do, this vital work. Work that is so important to the lives of our countless adults in Dane County and the families and the community that we serve. Every day at Omega School of Literacy Network now, our teaching staff shows up with purpose, compassion, a strong belief in our students that they can do it, that they can learn. We mentor them, we motivate them to the finish line, which is graduation. Our work is not easy at all, but it's very meaningful because the truth is, year after year, so many individuals are left behind by the traditional school system. And whether it's because of poverty, housing instability, lack of support, lack of resources, or other life history factors, many of our students never get the opportunity to finish high school. And that can hold people back from several life opportunities. And so for over 50 years, Omega School has provided adults in Dane County with a second chance education and a quality life. These provisions allow all of us in this room to live in a very safe and healthy and caring community like Madison. Omega provides students with relevant one-on-one instruction, career and occupational pathways, and most importantly, a structured, safe, and supportive landing space where they can learn. For many of our students, it's the first time in their educational journey where they've believed in themselves, believed that they can be successful, believed that they can learn, and felt valued, or that they can add value to society. Omega School we couldn't be off to a better start to 2025. Seeing regular attendance, many new students, a lot of returning students, a lot of parents returning to school after so many years of not being in a classroom. And then we get a lot of high school students as well who are finding their pathway to high school equivalency through Omega, through our very strong partnership with the Madison Metropolitan School District. So I'm very proud of where we are. I'm proud to say that Omega School of Literacy Network is working for our students. They're coming every day focused, they're coming determined, and showing up with a positive mindset. Students are passing tests, applying for career and educational programs, and more importantly, becoming role models for their families and their children. My vision as the director is that we continue building on the legacy of a second chance, of support and collaboration, and that Omega School of Literacy Network remains a true launch pad for upward mobility of our students and their families. That legacy only exists because the community has stepped up, have supported, and invested their voices, their time, their resources, and whether that's through volunteerism or simply spreading the word about what we do, your involvement, your participation, your engagement is really what makes the magic happen. And while things are going great, I'm super proud to stand here today. We're far from hitting the mark. We're far from done doing the work. There's still thousands of adults in Dane County alone that read at below a functional level, or who has only anything less than a high school education. And so the work is far from done, but we would love to work with you all, love to engage with you all, more so importantly, get to know you, and do the work together and find joy in that work. So I'm really happy to see everybody here tonight. Proud of everyone for being here tonight. Enjoy yourselves, and reflect on why we're all here. We all have a mission. And so let's take great pride in that and do the work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ezzy. We are really looking forward to having some Omega students up at the podium next year. So it's now my favorite part of the evening. I get to start introducing the students who will speak. Our first speaker is Maria Urdaneta. Maria is a student in our ESL tutoring program and works with tutor Melissa. Melissa shared, Maria moved to Wisconsin from Venezuela several years ago and has been learning English ever since. She currently works as a shift lead at a local restaurant while she is studying for her health insurance license and exploring volunteer options in the community. Maria is an absolute joy to work with. She always wants to learn more and is one of the most driven and optimistic people I've ever met. I can't wait to see what she does next. So welcome, Maria.
Thank you. Good evening. Okay. My history is my goals and dreams. Emigrating makes you set goals and dreams to achieve. Being a new country with a different language and culture is challenging that we must accept. One of one most important goals was to learn the language. Being able to communicate with other people was my priority. I couldn't be silent. That was not an option. I looked for information where someone could give me support in studying the language, and I found out about Literacy Network, a non-profit institution that offers you that help unconditionally. They give you the opportunity to study and have a tutor, where every week in each class you have a program to follow which interactive pedagogical alternative and study topics of interest to learn about. Making learning easy for you? It is not normal class. It is a support group where not only your tutor is integrated but also other people whose interest in the group care and give you tools so that you learn and understand the language in a simple, easy, and fun way. Learning the language have given me the opportunity to have new goals and dreams to achieve, such as studying for a health insurance certification, understand in the advertised area, volunteering at an institution or at the literacy network, helping other people to join a program or project that is yourself in their life and makes them feel integrated in society. Every day, I feel more motivated in my ventures. It is never too late to learn if you can. Thank you for being part of these dreams. And that's my class master. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Next, we will welcome Carl Richardson Lacossiere. Carl is a student in both our ESL group classes and ESL tutoring program. His group ESL instructor, Cassie, says, Carl is a dedicated Literacy Network student and has been involved in many ways, including participating on a student panel to share about Literacy Network student experiences. He has had near perfect attendance in our Level 3 class and has said, I will always come to class, raining, snowing, I will be there. In class, Carl is an ideal student. He asks thoughtful questions and never hesitates to help those around him. Carl is a great representative of the Madison community, and I am excited for you to hear from him today. Carl also works with personal tutor Lenora, and Lenora adds, I have had the privilege of working with Carl since the fall of 2023. He is a wonderful student, hard worker, an amazing young man who has taught me so much about Haiti and his culture. I'm so happy that you have a chance to meet him and hear about his journal. So welcome, Carl.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lacossiere Richardson. I'm from Haiti. Tonight, I would like to talk about who helped me in my life and how these people helped me. And first of all, to be able to help others, you must have this feeling yourself that people need you. That's why I consider myself as someone who is very low-key, because I met a lot of kind of people who are ready to help me in my life. My first help from of my family, because I grew up in the absence of my mother. She died when I was 4 years old, and my father didn't have enough of money to pay for my schooling. Fortunately, I have two of my older brothers, namely Lacossiere Tchaikovsky and Lacossiere Eliseo Perez Hernandez, who are ready to help me to pay for my schooling and others. But with each goal achieved, we always have one or more other goals targeted. After my university studies, I wanted to present the final document of my story. I met two famous teachers on my way, namely Fred L. Lucas to help me from the beginning of the end of the document, and Professor Vincent, Teacher Vincent, who helped me to make a good presentation of the document. So I cannot forget to say thank you to the leaders of Literacy Network, who drove its programs and famous teachers who are on their way to help me achieve my new goal, which to speak, read, and write English perfectly. I want to end by saying helping people in need is an essential part of life and kind of destiny. So, but never forget to say thank you to someone who helps you, because a little thank you can take us very far together. So thanks to these people and also to the Literacy Network. Thank you so much for that.
And Carl, we thank you for sharing your story. Our final speaker tonight is Kimberly. Kimberly is a student in our Essential Literacy Tutoring Program. Kim's tutor, Joan, says, Kim has worked as a certified nursing assistant for 40 years. Her resilience and commitment to caring for others are evident by the many years she worked 2 jobs while she raised 5 kids. Education has always been important to Kim, and last year Kim graduated from the UW Odyssey Project. This opportunity provided Kim with the impetus for achieving her dreams of becoming a registered nurse. Kim started Essential Literacy in January 2025 to improve her reading, writing, and computer skills with the goals of completing a degree in nursing. She has shared how important attending each Tuesday morning session is to her, and our sessions are enhanced by the common bonds of being from the south side of Chicago and working in healthcare. Kim's openness and enthusiasm for learning are evident each week. I'm happy for Literacy Network supporters to learn more about this remarkable woman and her story. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you, and thank everyone for being here. Who helps you reach your goals? My goal is to return back to school. I would like to major in nursing, to earn a bachelor's degree, to become a registered nurse. I am a student of the Literacy Network program. My tutor, Miss Jones, and Miss Laura works together with me on different things that I struggle with, including my comprehension, reading, vocabulary, and basic computer skills. I feel that these are some of the important issues that I have been struggling with in my past that have made it impossible to achieve my goal. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois. I moved to Madison, Wisconsin in 1992. My goals were to come to Madison, Wisconsin to better myself, raise my children in a safe environment, and to continue my education. Education has always been important to me while growing up in poverty. When I was going to school in Chicago, I struggled with learning. After getting passed on from one grade to the next, learning became more difficult for me to understand some of my coursework. I tried so hard not to quit, not to give up. I began to develop anxiety, feeling embarrassed, ashamed to raise my hand in class because I didn't want to be made fun of. Education was so important to me that I had the attitude not to quit. When I failed, I would start all over again until I passed. It got to the point where my comprehension had got so bad that I would have to go back and start programs and classes over and over again until I passed. I have taken the same program over until it took me 10 years to complete a 1-year program. My self-esteem and confidence was so low But in my heart, I couldn't quit. I kept starting over until I was able to understand and pass. Today, I still feel my mindset was not normal. What kept me going is that I never forgot in elementary school in history class when our class talked about Dr. Martin Luther King stressed how important education was and how hard he fought for others, freedom and education. That stuck with me and inspired me. I always felt that if I didn't get my education, I would never get out of poverty. When education got to be so overwhelming for me, I cried. And I wanted to quit. But something in my heart told me to fight, like Dr. Martin Luther King would have done. Because I don't want to give up, for it is so important to me and my future, my family, my friends, and others across the country to better myself with learning and helping others. I wasn't proud of myself when my children came home with homework and I didn't know the answers. As they grew older, I didn't have the learning ability to help them with their homework. While I was attending school at the same time they were, they kept growing and I stayed stuck in a circle, starting over and over until they outgrew me. I have been attending school almost every year since I moved to Madison. I pray that I could be a help to my grandchildren and others to give back. I truly appreciate the opportunity that I have been blessed to be a student at the Literacy Network program. It's an honor to have Miss Jones for my tutor and the help that Miss Laura provides for me. To achieve my dreams and goals, I am very grateful to have these two remarkable people in my life. Thank you all for being here and listening to my story. Thank you, thank you.
May I ask those of you who were the tutors or instructors for any of the students who spoke tonight to please stand up or raise your hand? I know Cassie was here earlier. Yeah. And thank you again to Maria and to Carl and to Kimberly for sharing your stories. You really represent what Literacy Network is all about, and it's really so important that people get to hear directly from you what the agency is about. So thank you. So now I get the honor of introducing Tana Elias. In addition to being the director of Madison Public Library, Tana has also been Literacy Network's board president for the last 2 years. We are so fortunate to have Tana's experience and dedication, so we thank you for everything you do. And I also would like to say congratulations on the upcoming groundbreaking for the Rindall Library at Rindall Park. We are so pleased. And please know that your colleagues at Literacy Network are ever so thankful for everything you do for the community. So please welcome Tana.
I have the hardest shoes to fill going last, so I will do my best. Good evening, everyone. As Robin said, I'm Tana Elias. I'm the current chair of the Literacy Network Board. In my day job, I'm the director of Madison Public Library. Maria, Carl, and Kimberly, Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us this evening. You are rock stars, and we are so glad to have you as part of the Literacy Network community, and we are so inspired by the work that you have done. I've been a reader my whole life, and the hours that I've spent immersed in books from the time I was a child helped me learn about a world wider than my own, learn new skills, and develop empathy. I've made a career out of helping others in our community find that same joy in reading and empowerment through education. But when I was growing up, some of my family members struggled with reading, and others were sidetracked from achieving their educational goals. Their struggles have stayed with me and are one of the reasons I chose to work in libraries and support educational organizations. I first learned of the great work that Literacy Network is doing in the Madison area through a long-standing partnership between the library and the Literacy Network to host and promote community English classes in area libraries. Community English is just one of 8 core programs that the Literacy Network provides to students. The partnership between the Literacy Network and libraries is a natural one, and I've seen how together we can reach more students and offer more resources for adult education. After my first donation to the Literacy Network, I started to receive the organization's newsletter and began to learn more about the Literacy Network's impact through the community, how they serve students, how they partner for greatest impact, and how they steward resources responsibly. After that donation, my husband and I have donated many more times through events like this, through signing up to be sustaining donors, and through larger gifts for specific programs or needs. Today, I want to ask you for your support as well. Financial support through private donations makes a big difference to the Literacy Network's bottom line and helps ensure continuity of the great work that they're doing, which we heard about from previous speakers this evening. In this time of uncertain grant funding and increasing need, it's even more important than ever to give locally to support programs that empower immigrants, create citizens, and help people feel welcome in the United States and in their communities. Donors can be confident that Literacy Network is stewarding resources responsibly and effectively, and that you don't have to take my word for it. Literacy Network consistently receives top ratings from Charity Navigator, Candid, great nonprofits, and is a proud partner of United Way of Dane County and Madison Community Foundation. Your gifts tonight will be doubled thanks to a generous matching gift from Rich and Mary Lynch. Let's give them a round of applause. And those gifts will match donations up to $5,000 to help Literacy Network reach the $10,000 goal set for tonight's event. Donations can be made by scanning the QR code on your program or by returning the envelope on your seat, which you can give to a staff member tonight or return by mail. 100% of tonight's event proceeds support Literacy Network students and help them achieve their individual goals of improving their English, supporting their children, obtaining a job or a promotion, finishing high school or college, or any number of other personal goals that they have set for themselves. Thank you all for being here this evening to help Literacy Network students achieve those goals through the support of the wonderful and caring staff at the Literacy Network. Let's give them a shout out too. A few reminders as we conclude tonight's event. The online auction is open until 11 o'clock tonight, so if you're a night owl, keep bidding up until the last minute. Make your final bids in the next few hours. Winners will be contacted by email, right? Yeah, be contacted to pick up their auction items. So you'll be contacted if you're a winner. Don't forget to grab your wine pull bags in the back or to make a wine purchase on your way out, and take a cookie for the road. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here with you all this evening, to serve on the board for the last 4 years. I'd like to share a final thank you to everyone in this room and all our supporters who couldn't make it to tonight's event. Thank you for believing in the power of adult literacy education, and thank you for your support of the Literacy Network.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. If you haven't visited us at Literacy Network, please do so. And also now you can visit us at Omega School. So thank you.